Boston in the late 1960s was suffering. The city was struggling with economic hardship, loss of jobs, unrest in the streets, and all-around despair. The homeless population was at an all-time high. Refuge was nowhere to be found. When others turned away, Pine Street Inn offered a helping hand. A group of priests concerned with social ills, known as the Boston Urban Priests, rose to the challenge. Paul Sullivan, one of Pine Street's founders, along with Monsignor Frank Kelly, and a few more, agreed to run Pine Street for a couple of years. The first people Pine Street Inn offered shelter to was a group of 200 men battling alcoholism. Paul Sullivan set the program's fundamental tone of respect by designating anyone seeking shelter as a guest of Pine Street Inn. This important language was a stark contrast from the derogatory terms of homeless people at the time. Society thought of them as garbage can vultures, drunks, bums, and overall, less than human. Paul Sullivan, or Sully as he's known to the guests, changed that perception. He spoke to the guests like human beings and treated them with dignity and respect they could not find outside of Pine Street's walls. By 1980, the number of people seeking Pine Street's assistance had grown to a point that the organization was struggling to accommodate everyone. Pine Street moved to the current location on Harrison Avenue and expanded services to women. But there was still a long way to go.
It was March. I was riding the train, so I just took the train to Oak Grove, thinking that there was another train back. It was a blizzard. That was the last train. There was no train going back. So I just walked down the road, and there was an apartment complex to the left. I tried the door, and it was open, thank God. I probably would have froze to death. And it's scary, but that's what happened, so I just stayed in there. Then in the morning, got out and went back. Yeah, rode the train, walked the street, college educated, used to be a campus police officer. This, I had no idea. I was used to helping the homeless, because I worked right down Boston Common area, Beacon Hill area. I always had compassion. It's interesting now to be on the other side, where it's like, there is no compassion at times.
It was around 2007. My wife and I separated, wasn't living with her and my son. And then beginning of 2009, I got laid off. And this was right during the recession, right? And I couldn't find anything, no jobs. I was homeless. And to admit to yourself that you're homeless is devastating.
My kid's father was an abusive alcoholic. He used to put his hands on me and stuff like that and beat me up for nothing, you know. I was basically a good homegirl. I'd stay in the house, do my chores, take care of my kids. I was a real good mother. And basically I ended up homeless, using. I walked away from my children because of the drugs, you know. Then that I know now, I wouldn't have made a lot of bad choices in my life, and I have a lot of regrets from them.
It's been a journey, tough one, very tough. But as a result of doing all the work, one day I will have a place of my own that no one can take. It's my safe place. I can allow in who I want and who I don't want.
The winters were brutal. There was one year we had a state of emergency with so much snow, and the snow was so thick because I squatted in abandoned buildings. I was pregnant in abandoned buildings, but I went through a lot, you know, being homeless. So I'm just glad that I have some place to live, that, you know, I was cooperative, you know, to see, because I know I deserve better.
If Pine Street wasn't here, you have 120 women. Where would they go to? During the winter, like, I don't know what they would do. Where would they get a breakfast? Where would they get a dinner? And where would they just get a bed to rest their head at safely?
I've had hard days here where I was sitting at the table crying and staff would notice. And, hey, come talk to me, and they'll sit in the office with me. They don't have to do that. This place, they care about you. And that's the only reason why I'm still here is, you know, I know from being at the shelter compared to this, I want to work for it eventually. I actually want to go to school and work with kids that get in trouble and stuff. 'Cause, I mean, I've been through it, so I think I'd be good at that.
I think we see people who are here because they've lost their job and didn't have, they were literally one paycheck away, like so many people. I think we are seeing more and more people who are here because they had a healthcare crisis. And while they had insurance, if you couldn't work because you got cancer, you have a debilitating illness and you can't work for 3 or 4 months, that often means in this market, you get evicted and you end up homeless.
You know, without Pine Street Inn, I think there'd be a lot more people on the streets. Pine Street has literally helped put into housing and move forward, would not have existed. And I think Boston would have a lot more homeless people on the street, but more importantly, a lot of people who had an opportunity to have their lives changed because of Pine Street's commitment and dedication, investment and compassion would not have those opportunities.